Thank you so much, Leah, and a big thanks to the rest of the team for making me part of today's discussions, and of course, even more for putting together this important event. Being surrounded by people like you that are working to create community, to advance women's empowerment, to break barriers every single day is a real honor. And I couldn't think of a better group of people and a better moment in time with which to reflect on global leadership. As I mentioned, I'm a Kennedy School alumna. So as a diligent student, I'll start by putting into practice what I've learned at the leadership course there. For those that didn't take the course, we had to buy this book of Indo-European roots and search for the root, the meaning behind keywords we would use in class. We would always do it super last minute, of course, but each time it would open a world behind the words. So to prepare this keynote, I did just that. And I was reminded that leaderships come from the Old English and Dutch word "lithan," which literally means to go and to guide. It means going somewhere together with others. So if today we're here to discuss global leadership, this means that using the root of the world, we're here to discuss where we're going together as communities, as nations, as humanity. Well, just a few days ago, the latest IPCC report on climate change was released. It states that as humans, we have unequivocally caused global warming, hurting humanity and nature potentially to a point of no return. Today, I'm giving this address while sitting in Brussels, at the heart of the EU, which since 1 year has been shaken by the return of a major war on its continent. And conflicts are raging throughout the world, as always led by power-hungry men. As someone that works in crisis contexts from Africa to the Middle East, now Europe, I can tell you though that the consequences of these conflicts don't touch those powerful men. They don't affect those responsible for the war, but those that can't afford to get out of it, poor people, vulnerable groups, starting from children and women. On top of all of this, half of our world population continues to live in poverty, below $6.85 per day, while 1% owns 45% of global wealth. And another half of the population, as women, see our equal rights violated every day. Be it it's up to comment at the office, a new law which tries to control our bodies, or be it outright discrimination and violations of our most basic rights. So let's use this data to come back to the leadership question. Where are we going? Clearly in all sorts of wrong directions. So the second question I ask myself is, who has been leading us there? For sure, not women. And the third question is, how did we get into such a dramatic situation for humanity and for the planet? And this is the point I want to explore today. I think that we got there because of a wrong interpretation of what leadership means, an interpretation which has been created mainly for and by men. And now I want to ask a question to all those that are listening, women and men. How many times were you told you should be more assertive or more competitive, or that you're too empathic, too sensitive to be a boss? I was told so many times, and these questions and stereotypes confirm which traits are considered important for leadership in today's world. And that's where the problem lies. Global leadership must be redefined. The problem shouldn't be that someone is too empathic, but that someone is too insensitive. It shouldn't be that someone is too collaborative, but that someone is too competitive. It shouldn't be that someone is too attached to its moral values or to the impact of its actions, but that someone is too attached to profit no matter what. If we want to fix global challenges, we need to start by redefining what leadership means. And by redefining its meaning, I'm convinced we'll also redefine how leaders look and how leaders act like. And I tell you why. Because we need a leadership that is smart and compassionate, that is competitive and collaborative, that is ambitious and inclusive. And that leadership is called women. We bring unique traits to the table. I've seen it across my jobs, I've seen it in my family, I see it among my girlfriends. We bring the traits our world desperately needs. Research confirms that we have a natural ability for empathy, collaboration, and long-term thinking. Abilities that we need to see more of in our decision-making rooms among women and men. And research confirms that when there are more women in leadership positions, there is a better financial performance, decision making, and more innovation. We are a key ingredient for fixing global challenges. And the sooner we become aware of that, women and men, the sooner we will manage to start going together in the right direction. So how can we get there? My first advice is to be proud of the diversity we bring, to stand by it, is to be ourselves and not to give in to the pressure of adhering to the dominant leadership style. Personally, it took me a while to figure this one out. For years, I tried to be more competitive, more assertive, to play by the rules of the game. But even if many people don't see it or don't want to see it, this is exactly what our world doesn't need more of. We need new ways, different ways of doing things. So as women, which often do things a little differently, we should feel free to do just that. My second advice is to put the attention of companies and countries on fixing the system and not on fixing the woman. When I was the G20 Sherpa for Gender Equality, I heard over and over again that we need to mentor women, empower women, support women. Let me clarify one thing. We have the competencies, we have the character, we have the ambition it takes. So we don't need just mentoring, we need the system to be fixed. So whenever you feel in your job that they're trying to fix you as a way of empowering women, help them see the bigger problem and point them towards fixing the system. My third advice is to stand with and stand by each other. There are so few positions for which women are competing, especially as we go up the career ladder. And often we're put one against the other. But real change will happen only if we go together. So, yes, we might compete for some positions, but this doesn't mean we can't use those moments to find ways of lifting also other women up. And yes, we might disagree on some issues as any human does, but this doesn't mean we can't help each other to create together more space for women at all levels of the career ladder. We must shift from an either or to an and situation. By doing so, I'm sure many more women will manage to make strides in all fields. My fourth is to not let anyone use you. I'll explain what I mean by this. As women, we often play a crucial role in moments of transition. Think of revolutions. Often they're led by women, like in Iran today. Think of change at micro and macro level. Very often is driven by women, like in the climate change movement. And men are happy to see us take that burden, lead protests, lead campaigns, generate change. But once change has happened and we start discussing power and roles, often men to say it's a men thing. We see our power being hijacked. So let's be aware of that. Let's lead revolutions, let's lead change, but let's then occupy the decision making seats. Because, yes, leadership is not a role, it's an attitude. But powerful roles without true and inclusive leadership are dangerous. And we must change this pattern once and for all. We can see where it has taken us so far. My fifth and last advice is to remember that leadership is a choice. It's not a title, it's not a position. It's what you do with your life, with your job, with your community, with your family. You have a capacity to lead independently from your position, but you must make that choice within you every single day. Will you use your time, your energy, your experience to make a difference? Or will you just go with the flow without the interest of changing things? That's a choice each one of us makes without external judgment. But having this choice means that the power to lead, the choice to lead, is within us, not with anyone else. I will have so many more reflections to share as I'm currently discussing a lot of these topics actually with iconic women across the world for my upcoming book on women leadership. But these are the most important ones I wanted to share. So I'll leave it at this, as I know you all have a busy day ahead and I don't want to steal more of your time. But I wanted to say really good luck to you, Leah, and also to all the other leaders and practitioners like me that are here today and that will be running the upcoming sessions and workshops. I really hope today will be a day to learn, a day to push boundaries, to recharge batteries, also being reminded that we're not alone in trying to lead and bring change, be it in sports and nonprofits and governments or in the private sector. Our world needs a renewed leadership, and we can be the answer. I have no doubt about that. So let's keep our chin up, claim our space, walk together, and become the change we want to see. Thank you.